Hello and welcome back to OTG Rambles. I am your host, the Overthinking Gamer, live from the Smooth Brain Academy. And today we are talking about something that I actually have a passion for, and that is the world of speedrunning. Now, in the past, have been a speedrunner. I speedran many times. You can check out my channel, my main channel, Overthinking Gamer, to see my speedrunning exploits in the past. I have speedran Ocarina of Time. I'm currently learning the Glitchless category for Star Wars Knights of the Republic. I also speedran a game called Top Gear Overdrive, in which I did hold the world record in a category for a while. It's just because nobody had done a run in that category, so I did that. One of my first videos on my main channel is actually me speedrunning Pokemon Puzzle League for the N64 on easy mode. So I'm a purveyor of speedrunning content. I like watching speedrunning sometimes. I enjoy playing a game over and over again so that I can become really good at the optimal strats, particularly in the glitchless categories. And for those of you who don't know, games have different categories. You have any percent, which is typically completing a game any way you can. And that includes glitches. Then you have categories like the glitchless, where it does not involve, well, glitches. What a glitch is hotly debated within even particular speedrun leaderboards themselves. Just as an example, within the Ocarina of Time leaderboard, there are two glitchless subcategories because one is more restrictive than the other, as some of the tricks you can do in Ocarina of Time that are not considered glitches do skip things that in essence kind of don't make it feel like a glitchless speedrun. And so they have two categories for glitchless within Ocarina of Time. But there is something about speedrun.com that I cannot stand. So recently, I started doing randomizers for Ocarina of Time. For a while, I was doing that like once a week. And in 2022, a community of people decompiled the code for Ocarina of Time and made a new PC port of the game. And it's a really convenient port of the game because you were able to change things on the fly, go into dev tools very easily. There's a whole UI menu you can bring up from the game itself. And you can also use mods to make things look better. You can increase the FPS of the game. You can do all kinds of things that are really cool that make the experience feel different. There are custom items, like an item called Rock's Feather that gives you another jump. Recently, I was moseying around in the Discord. There was discussion about the game, speedrunning, and randomizing, and all that stuff. I happened upon a thread that was talking about speedruns of the game because I didn't even realize, or I'd forgotten, I should say, that there is a leaderboard on speedrun.com for Ship of Harkinian because it is a completely different version of Ocarina of Time. It is considered a totally different game. Thus why it's called Ship of Harkinian in the first place, because for those of you who don't know, that refers to the story of paradox of a ship that over the years it is repaired so much to the point where every single plank of wood, every single material used to build the ship is replaced with something different. And thus, is it a new ship or is it the same ship? And so on speedrun.com, there is a whole leaderboard for this. And this was, I believe, this was created a year ago. Once I learned about it, I decided to mosey on over to speedrun.com and check it out, as I have also been back to practicing Ocarina of Time Glitchless. It's a game that I know more than any other game I've ever played because I've played it so much. And when I was moseying around, I stumbled upon the Glitchless category and the 100% category. And I wanted to see, particularly at the rules and such, and I was looking around at you can see the game rules as well as the category rules. I did set up this whole preset so that I could begin to speedrun this game. You know, no mods are allowed. It talks about the difference between exploits and glitchless and banned techniques and what's allowed and what's not allowed. And I wanted to see what's a speedrun like this like. And the point of all of this is that when I was looking at the any percent glitchless category, it was a run by a millennial N64 dad. And, you know, when I was looking around, I noticed, hey, this guy's a moderator. He verified himself. And this is a practice that I despise on speedrun.com and that I don't think should be allowed. At the bottom of the page, you will notice of any leaderboard, there's a list of moderators. Now, I know for certain leaderboards, there are not enough moderators, you know, and these guys They run the whole leaderboard, right? And I get it. The draws can be difficult at times. They got a lot to manage occasionally, when especially with leaderboards like the regular Ocarina of Time, where you have 10 moderators for that game versus the 3 that we have for this one. However, this leaderboard is not nearly as big as the regular Ocarina of Time leaderboard. I want to say up front, I'm in no way throwing shade at this person. I am in no way saying that they've cheated this run. I have no reason to believe that. It would look a hell of a lot more suspicious if they had a run that was like 2 hours and 12 minutes. All right. That would look a lot more suspicious. This is 2.5 hours, which isn't even that good. Not even close to the world records within Ocarina of Time itself. So if he was cheating, he did a very bad job. What I noticed about this run first was that if we look at the rules, what we find is this at the top. Failure to include showing settings listed below in your run will result in an immediate rejection. Now, I don't know when they changed this rule or when they made this addendum. I would wager it was after this happened, because within this run, my man never shows his settings. It has to be done before or after the run, right? You can look for yourself and you can see there is no point at which this person shows his settings.
Hey, Hanson. Yes! Yes! Yeah! Yay! World record! New strategies. That's how I rush at you. New route, new strategies. No, this is my 34th attempt at this world record. Under the 3-hour mark is good. Okay, so let's see. If I were on console, Ocarina. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. You were here. You were all here. I'm going to immortalize you forever on the website. Okay, so if I was playing on regular console, where there's the most competition out of anyone, I would be 22nd place, which is not bad. Yeah, Dr. Cossack, there's 2-player speedruns on our... I'm a moderator for the speedruns for Ship of Harkinian. We have 2-player speedrun categories.
Now, first, I thought, wow, that looks really bad. Because it does. Be clear, this looks really bad. Listen, this isn't just about you. This isn't just about this run. It's about the fact that this kind of behavior makes me and other people question the integrity of every moderator on this page. And it questions the integrity of not only this run, but also the runs of other moderators on this leaderboard. Now, I have no reason to believe that this person cheated. It'd be a lot more suspicious if this run was like 2 hours and 10 minutes, right? I have no reason to believe that this person did this maliciously or with malicious intent. However, this is still a terrible practice. And this is just one example on speedrun.com that I've seen. This is just the one that I found the most recently. But this happens all over speedrun.com, where people who are moderators will verify their own runs, and I don't think it's good practice. And this didn't just happen once. If we go to the glitched no wrong warp category, Millennium64 Dad has the speedrun world record here. For context, the no SRM wrong warp speedrun, which is what this no wrong warp is based off of. On the regular Ocarina of Time leaderboard, the world record is 38 minutes and 2 seconds. The world record here is 45 minutes and 17 seconds. But then we see, again, verified by the same person who submitted it. This should not be allowed. You will notice at the end of this run, he does actually show his settings.
Fucking world record. Oh, finally. Fuck. Gotta do my crime. This run had a lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. This run had a ton of ups and downs. We got behind, we got ahead. Gotta show my settings. I think I'm gonna end after this, you guys. 2 world records in 2 days. Don't worry, I'm showing my settings so that I don't get banned from the run. Oh, thanks, Al. How many people are here? 86 of you. Nice. Wow. Thank you. That was draining. I guess I can move on for a while. Thank you, Ecuador. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Which indicates to me that it was sometime after his glitchless speedrun that they made this new rule. However, this still looks bad. Anybody who's coming into this and sees this, sees that not only does someone get their run verified by themselves, but also that that person did not do what the rule specifically state, even though, like I said, the rule, I believe, was made after this run was submitted, does not look good. This throws the integrity of this leaderboard into question. This is a terrible practice. This should not be a thing that is allowed on speedrun.com. If you submit a run, in no world should you be allowed as a moderator to verify your own run. That is not instilling confidence in the integrity of the moderators of this leaderboard, as well as other leaderboards that do this. Because I know this is not just a Ship of Harkinian problem. This is a problem within categories and leaderboards on speedrun.com. There are all kinds of leaderboards where shit like this happens, and I don't think this should be allowed on speedrun.com. Again, I am not saying that this was done with malicious intent. I have no reason to believe that. I just think that this practice is fucking atrocious. People have got to stop doing this. You're not only throwing the integrity of yourself under the bus, you're throwing the other moderators' integrity under the bus because they're allowing this to happen. That's just not a good look. I do not understand why speedrun.com allows for this type of thing to happen. I don't know if it's even possible to implement a system in which you can't verify yourself. I don't know how hard that would be. But regardless, this type of behavior makes me question the integrity of not only this leaderboard, but the community as a whole. It really makes me question whether or not I still want to participate in this community, whether or not I still would want to participate in the speedrunning community of this game. When stuff like this happens, these are the things that are running through my brain. And I hope that I'm not alone in thinking that this is sus. That's all I have to say about that. But I do want to make a disclaimer for the 100th time in this video. I want to make sure it's absolutely clear. I am not attacking this person. I am not saying that they did anything with malicious intent. And I am not saying that they cheated. I am simply pointing out how bad this looks from a cursory glance. Because at first, I thought that he did this after the rule was actually implemented. He didn't show his settings. He verified himself. After looking at the new No Wrong Warp run, I believe that the rule change happened after this glitchless any % run. But if you're just looking at this from a cursory glance, you look at the rules, you look at the submission, you see he didn't follow the rules, and you see that he verified himself, that does not look good. That looks suspicious. Okay, I think I've covered everything that I want to talk about here. Anyways, this has been the Overthinking Gamer live from the Smooth Brain Academy, and as always, stay smooth, my friends.